Hello everybody, it's Alex here from VG247, and this is, as you can tell, Monster Hunter World, except this is the PC version of the game. So, I played a lot of Monster Hunter World when it first came out on PS4, or rather on PS4 Pro, and I really liked it, but when I started to get towards the late game stuff, I decided to put a pause on it and stop playing it because I knew I was going to play it on PC. And now the time has finally come where I can play it. I wanted to play it on PC because obviously, you know, you can max out the various settings, get it at 4K with a good frame rate, all that sort of stuff. And I just wanted to do a quick video here showing how it looks, how it's running on my machine right now. So I haven't changed any settings other than dropping it into borderless windowed mode. So I've put it on, it's basically on what the game recommended as the settings for my GPU, which is a 1080 Ti. This is running at 4K. Frame rate wise, it is mostly hovering around the 30 mark. And then every now and then it jumps up, and when you're in things like character creator and stuff like that, then it's hitting 60. But I'm quite surprised so far that it hasn't quite been able to fully all the way get up to that, you know, coveted 60 FPS at 4K. It's a bit more background on this machine. So it's an i7-6700 at 4.2 gigahertz, 32 gig of RAM, 64-bit obviously. I think this only runs on 64-bit in fact. And yeah, a 1080 Ti like I said. So it's a pretty powerful, pretty beefy machine. So I was surprised to see it mostly hovering around the 30 mark, but the game does have options for locked at 30, locked at 60, or completely unlocked frame rate. And this was set so it would try to hit 60, but then lock at 60, but it wasn't quite managing it. I'm gonna mess with some settings, jiggle around with it, see what I can see. I'm sure we can probably get some improved performance out of it, but as a start, I think 4K at 30 in a big game that's sort of got lots of AI stuff going on and a large open world that's streaming in, I think is pretty decent. I also think it looks pretty good. I do have a slight issue with texture work. It feels like at 4K this game is really in need of like a high-res texture pack. So I really hope that Capcom maybe will sort one of those out at some point. Just because sometimes it looks amazing and sometimes you're like, that texture looks a bit iffy there. So yeah, hopefully, especially when you just get close-ups of things, like in the opening cutscene of the game, there's not a video because it's real time, but in the opening cutscene you have like, you're in the tavern on the ship and people are drinking from tankards and stuff like that, and it's like the character models look great and the faces look great, but like you see people with their grappling hook slinger thing loading them and unloading them and cleaning them, and the textures on those are like, ooh, they look bad. Or like the tankards that they're drinking from, the textures are not so hot. So hopefully there could be a high-res texture pack at some point. But it looks great otherwise, it runs great, the lighting and stuff looks absolutely fabulous, I think. And the controls, I'm really impressed with the controls actually. Like, it's got full keyboard and mouse support, and it does have stuff like the ability to have MMO style hotkeys for your items and all that sort of stuff. And I actually think if for Monster Hunter fans, this is going to prove to be like the way to play the game, because when you're getting into those high-end hunts and you're really worrying about switching between different things and being as accurate as possible, I mean, the bow is a joy to use with a mouse, because of course it is. I think you're going to be able to have a much higher level of Monster Hunter play with that stuff than you actually have on PS4, and so that's pretty cool, I think. And yeah, but other than that, it is Monster Hunter World. It's the same game, same great game. We reviewed it on VG247 back when it first came out at the start of the year, and I'll pop a link to that review in the description. But so far, I'm pretty impressed, and I'm just hoping that we get that high res texture pack. I just feel like it would make an enormous difference to the quality of the visuals. In terms of specs, just to run down it if you're wondering, so the minimum specs are they want 8 gig of RAM and like an i5 4460 at 3.2 gigahertz, and then like a GTX 760 or a Radeon R7 260, so you know, around about there. And they reckon for that'll get you 30 FPS on the low settings, whereas to get 1080p on the high settings, they want an i3 8350 4 gigahertz, or like an i7 3770 3.4 gigahertz, 8 gig of RAM again, and like a GTX 1060. So my 1080 Ti to get to 30 FPS at 4K is obviously quite a bit of a jump from that. But I'm really hoping. I'm seeing some chatter from some other people who have the game that they have been able to get 4K 60. So I'm really going to experiment with it and see what I can do, and see hopefully if I can get there. And I will give you a video update, and we'll probably do a video review of the game as well. But we won't be doing that for another week or so, because there is a embargo on what we're allowed to talk about, and we're only allowed to show so much footage of the game. So yeah, that's Monster Hunter World on PC. I'm really into it, in case you haven't already got that impression from this video. And I'll be back with more later, but I just wanted to do a quick couple of minutes just of raw gameplay so you can see what it looks like, literally running, not out of the box because there was no box, but running straight off the Steam servers with minimal settings changes. And now I'm going to go in and get into the nitty gritty and tweak and stuff and see how I can get to that lovely elusive 4K 60. Also, I'm sure there's going to be an Nvidia patch for this game. You know, Nvidia always put out their performance optimization patches for PC stuff, obviously, for big PC games anyway. And because I'm playing this early, if there is one of those patches coming for Monster Hunter, I haven't got it yet, and it won't be coming out until the game is almost out in a couple of weeks' time. So again, I'll keep you posted on that, so stick with us on the channel. If you like this stuff, give us a like, give us a subscribe, all that stuff. It really helps us. But yeah, that's Monster Hunter World on PC. I'll let this run for another minute or so, and then I'll be back. So stick around, and there'll be more from the PC version of this game to come. Until next time, everyone. See ya.
Look, the monster's almost done for. Chances are it'll retreat to its nest to recuperate.
You need to load the slinger with some ammo. See anything useful lying around? Oh boy, that monster's really mad now. Be ready for some vicious attacks. Watch their attacks. You don't want to take hits like that head on. Look out! Your health is low. Keep your distance and use a potion.
Monster's been immobilized. Now's your chance. Okay, let's head back.